Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, experts track a concerning increase in recent domestic violence shootings. And Kentucky State Police celebrate a historic milestone.
Plus, we are tracking showers to continue for much of the week ahead. All those details coming up as Mountain News at 5:30 starts now.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Nearly a dozen shootings were reported across the state this weekend. 4 murder-suicides logged nationwide include 2 here in the Commonwealth. On Friday morning, 4 people were found dead inside a home in Breathitt County, including the suspected shooter. Kentucky State Police are also investigating a murder-suicide on Saturday in Hardin County, where they believe a husband shot and killed his wife before turning the gun on himself. Kelsey Soto talks with domestic gun violence experts about the trends they are seeing.
It leaves me speechless. Over 33 years, it just continues to get worse and worse.
It never gets easier for Darlene Thomas.
It's families, it's neighbors, it's innocent bystanders.
She's been working with domestic violence survivors for more than 3 decades, but tells me a recent uptick in violent domestic crime has her concerned.
I keep going, when is it going to slow down? Like I'm waiting for the brakes to be applied a little bit, but it doesn't feel like it's slowing down.
Just last week, 3 children were among the 6 found dead in a house fire in Tennessee. Investigators believe the victims were all shot before flames ever flickered. The suspect identified amongst the dead. Previously,
we would have the perpetrator and the victim, and now we're having perpetrator and victim, sometimes up to 8.
Last year, 670 murder-suicides were reported nationwide, the highest number seen in the past 7 years, using data from the Gun Violence Archives. 315 have already been recorded this year. Mark Bryant has been tracking those numbers from right here in central Kentucky.
It really boils down to anger plus gun, or alcohol plus gun, or zealotry plus gun, with one common factor in all of that.
Darlene wants people to know that emergency protective orders can serve a valuable purpose, but may not work in every situation. She encourages anyone who feels unsafe to give them a call before it's too late, so they can help find available resources and solutions.
That was Kelsey Soto reporting. Thomas says it is a common misconception that you have to come into a shelter, but that's not always the case. They have options and other avenues for keeping victims safe. 1 man is dead after an officer-involved shooting in Louisville earlier today. The investigation is taking place in the Portland neighborhood. LMPD has set up a staging area at nearby Shawnee Baptist Church. When officers were trying to arrest their initial suspect, another person tried to carjack an officer with a gun. One of the officers shot the person with their service weapon and began life-saving measures. The person was taken to U of L Hospital, where he later died. LMPD's chief says he was a white man in his 20s. Also in Louisville, LMPD have arrested a man for a deadly shooting there this past weekend. 43-year-old Delane Nolan was arraigned this morning for murder and tampering with evidence. He's accused of killing a man Saturday night on South 3rd Street in the Wilder Park neighborhood. Police say Nolan admitted to getting into an argument with the victim and pulling a gun from his pocket just before it went off. The victim died at the University of Louisville Hospital. The coroner has not released his name. Nolan is in jail on a $100,000 bond. He's expected to be back in court June 27th. 1 man is dead and 5 others injured after a shooting late last night in Greenville, North Carolina. Greenville police got a call about gunshots just before midnight. They found a 45-year-old man dead when they arrived at the scene. 5 other people were injured by the gunfire. Officials say they were taken to a hospital and should survive their injuries. Police say those who were injured ranged in ages from 15 to 64. They believe the shooting stemmed from an argument between 2 groups of people. We're learning more about a deadly shooting that took the life of a state trooper in Pennsylvania. This shooting happened in the central part of the state on Saturday. Investigators say the suspected gunman, Brandon Stein, showed up at a police station with a gun. He reportedly shot and wounded one trooper and then left the scene. Troopers spotted Stein a couple hours later, and authorities say the suspected gunman fired at a patrol car.
One of our troopers traveling down Baumgartner Drive towards Swamp Road unfortunately was ambushed by Mr. Stein from the area of Swamp Road with a gunshot that struck Trooper Rougeau through the windshield of his patrol car, killing him.
Troopers fired back after that and killed Stein. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro says the other wounded trooper is in critical but stable condition. It's unclear what motivated Saturday's attack. There was a crash that caused delays on Interstate 75 this morning. It happened in the northbound lanes around the southern split in Fayette County. Lexington police say 4 cars were involved. 2 people were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police are investigating the cause of the crash, but one duty commander says wet roads may have played a role.
Well, those wet roads will continue into this evening as spotty showers also continue across the mountains as well. Some heavier showers now near I-64 over portions of Rowan County, not too far away from Moorhead. Also into Elliott County as well, not too far away from Isonville. Also tracking a heavier shower now just to the north of downtown Louisa over portions of northern Lawrence County, into portions of Wayne County, West Virginia as well. Also tracking a cluster of showers and storms now from Somerset and Pulaski County down Highway 27 into McCreary County, not too far away from Pine Knot. No severe weather, but some heavier showers, possibly a few thunderstorms cannot be ruled out as we go into this evening. All thanks to this spin in the atmosphere, this area of low pressure that will continue spinning across our region as we go into tonight and also into your Tuesday, Wednesday, and beyond, as more showers are also going to continue. And that muggy weather also going to continue as well. Temperatures middle to upper 70s right now. And like I said, we stay muggy for the rest of this week. All those details on those rain chances coming up in just a few minutes. Steve.
All right, Cameron, thank you. Kentucky State Police troopers, past and present, came together in Frankfort today to celebrate 75 years. Jeremy Toms gives us a look back at some of the agency's history and how it has changed in the years since it formed.
On July 1st of 1948, Governor Earl Clements signed off on an act that established the Kentucky State Police.
With the stroke of a pen, Kentucky became the 38th state to have a statewide police organization.
Some who were within the crowd and taking in the agency's history represented its future. Cadet Class 103, the largest class in nearly a decade, they received some words of wisdom from past troopers along the way.
There's a lot riding on your all's shoulders and a lot of people who are looking over your shoulders. So continue to look forward. Don't look back.
While these troopers say their core values haven't wavered over the past 3/4 of a century, they have seen this agency evolve.
Some change is inevitable.
Retired Colonel Linda Mayberry is the highest-ranking female official in KSP history. She remembers a time when the makeup of this agency was much different.
When I joined the KSP, there were only a few police women, most of whom were in larger metropolitan police departments. And in the late 1970s, Kentucky only had 1 woman trooper.
But with 31 active woman troopers and over 400 female civilian personnel now, she welcomes the changes KSP has made and looks forward to what the next 75 years hold. In Frankfort, Jeremy Toms, WKYT.
Search and rescue crews are working to find a missing tourist submarine near the Titanic's wreckage. Ocean Gate Expeditions, which owns and operates the vessel, says it went missing earlier today off the coast of St. John's, Newfoundland. It was unclear how many people were on board. However, the company's website says its submersibles carry 5 people and are used to explore shipwrecks and underwater canyons. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken wrapped up a 2-day trip to Beijing, saying the United States has no illusions about the challenges of managing its relationship with China. The comments follow Blinken's high-stakes meeting with China's president. CBS's Skylar Henry reports from the White House.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken spent 30 minutes face-to-face with China's President Xi Jinping.
The United States and China have an obligation to responsibly manage our relationship.
The high-stakes visit an effort to ease tensions between the two countries.
Progress is hard. It takes time, and it's not the product of one visit, one trip, one conversation. My hope and expectation is we will have better communications, better engagement going forward.
While Secretary Blinken says both see a need to stabilize the relationship, China did not agree to move forward with reestablishing military-to-military communications.
I think that's an issue that we have to keep working on. It is very important that we restore those channels.
The two sides have agreed to continue to talk, but differences remain on key issues, from trade to Taiwan. China's top diplomat says his country has no room to compromise on Taiwan, emphasizing China opposes the democratic island's independence.
China's sending a message, hey, we're in charge now. You're finished, to the West and to the United States. And I think it's indicative of what they hope to achieve.
Secretary Blinken says he expects more diplomatic engagement in the coming weeks and months. Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Blinken also emphasized possible cooperation between the two nations in areas of mutual interest, including climate and public health. Ukraine will not be joining NATO anytime soon. The chief of the military alliance says NATO will not issue a formal invitation to Ukraine at the group's high-profile summit next month. He says consultations are ongoing regarding Ukraine's bid to join NATO. Ukraine's leader, Volodymyr Zelensky, has been pressing for a time frame on when that could be.